Hello everyone. Let's just start with the webinar. So first of all, let me welcome you all. Welcome to this webinar. I am Ranjana Verma, Business Manager for Maplytics, and I'll be presenting today our latest summer release. So let's just dive in. Before we start with the webinar, let me explain you the webinar logistics. So throughout the webinar, all lines would be muted. In case if you have any questions or queries, you can put it in the chat box and I'll be answering them at the end of the webinar. Right? So let me first introduce iNogic to you. iNogic is one of the leading ISVs and a service provider. We are in the business for a decade now. Apart from Maplytics, we have other 15 productivity apps that could increase the user's engagement and make the full of your CRM usage. Beside these apps, we are also a system integrator. We assist our partners and customers with offshore development services. So if you want to know more about us or avail any of these services, you can anytime write to us on crm@inogic.com. Coming to the Maplytics part, so Maplytics is available on both the deployments, that is online as well as on-premise. And it is available for Dynamics 365 CRM as well as Dataverse. Let's just dive into the agenda for today. First, we will be looking after the growth of Maplytics over the years, how we have progressed, what is the impact and market scope of location intelligence, followed by the addition features that we are here today, today's topic of latest additions, followed by a live demo, and lastly, I'll be giving you a poll just to see how much you are, what is your input on our features, and at the end of the webinar, I'll be answering all your questions and doubts, right? So let's start with Maplytics growth over the years. So Maplytics is into the industry since a decade now. We started in 2011 as a mere store locator, but gradually through the inputs of our partners as well as customers and the research that we did in the industry, we have improved ourselves. Now today, even now we are improving, and even now today we are releasing updates as we go ahead. Let's just understand why location intelligence is important to us. So executives all over the globe understand that location-based data is very important, be it for marketing, be it for understanding your customers and reaching out to them effectively. And it is across vertical. So be it finance, retail, logistics, or real estate, every domain is affected by location-based intelligence. Here we can see not only the businesses that are B2C related, but also for B2B industries, it is much more important. And when it comes to the function of it, it is not only important for the sales and marketing guys to reach out to the clients in an effective manner, but also when you're doing your R&Ds, your operations, or any other finance related job functions, you definitely require location intelligence of your customers. The use cases are presented over here. So location intelligence gives you data visualization, site planning, geo-marking, route tracking and plotting, and other use cases. Now let's start with the impact of Maplytics. Through the feedback of our customers, we have found that there is a reduction in the mileage cost for up to 30% now. And earlier, traditionally, when a salesperson used to visit a field, there was a lot of back and forth on the ground as well as during the planning and optimization of the route. So that matrix has been reduced to more less than 30%, and the time that a salesperson used to spend on scheduling on managing the travels has been reduced to near 15 minutes, and I'll show you how we have done it. Lastly, there's also territory management. Earlier, there were a lot of pie charts or a lot of Excels through which managers used to understand their territories and handle the territories. Now with Maplytics, you get territory management tool wherein you can see exactly where your territories lies, how many accounts or how many records do you have them, and how to move about it. Now coming to today's functionality that I am going to present, or what are the latest additions or upgrades to Maplytics. First, I would be presenting PCF control. PCF control is wherein you can plot your data, categorize them, everything on the CRM homepage right here itself. Followed by auto scheduling, that is, what if I have to plan for multiple people for multiple days. So there is something called as auto scheduling that I will be taking you through. Then we have territory management, wherein you can create, align, and realign your territories. Lastly, then we have mobile view, on which you will be able to see when it comes to businesses which involves a lot of field sales, people don't no longer use desktops anymore. So majority of their work happens on mobile, hence mobile is very important when it comes to route planning, optimizing, as well as finding your records nearby. And lastly, we would be looking after batch processing tool. It is a tool that helps you to geocode your records, right? So without any further ado, let us start with the live demo. So as you can see, I am in the demo instance of my CRM and I am on the accounts entity. And this is my view, that is the London view. And all my records are here in the forms of rows and columns, that is the read-only data. As we are looking after PCF control, let me explain you what PCF control is. So everything that you were able to see in the form of rows and columns there are now here plotted on the map with respect to their location, right? So like you can see, with respect to the location, I am able to see the concentration of my accounts on the map right here itself. And the advantage of PCF is that not only you are able to see the maps on the Dynamics 365 CRM, but also you are able to use the functionalities of Dynamics 365 CRM right from this single window over here. And the latest upgrade includes a data grid, wherein not only you can see all your push pins plotted, all the records plotted, but also you can find with respect to the keywords and highlight them. So for this particular use case, for this particular PCF feature, let me give you an use case so that it is much more easier for us to understand it. I am a salesperson. Let's say I am a salesperson and I want to visit one of my account, that is Bayless, because they have asked me to visit today. Now, since I am going on the ground, I might as well visit some other accounts that are nearby. So in that case, let me just start with it. Like I said, I want to visit Bayless. I can just simply search about it on this grid and I'll be able to see it. When I click on this, the pushpin would be highlighted just to indicate that this particular pushpin represents Bayless. Now, if I hover over it, you are able to see that there's certain information that I might need as a salesperson at a glance. Like I might want to understand industry, the sales, the annual revenue this particular account has given me. So hence, I have configured this hover data. Accordingly, based on your requirement, you can configure this data. What if I want to dig even deeper into it? So in that case, I can just click on this push pin and a tooltip card would appear over here like this. Here I am able to see even more information about this particular account. That is the phone number, the primary contact person, account, revenue, the industry. If you add in more lines, if you want to add more lines, you can definitely go ahead and configure it. So Maplytics, one of the advantage with Maplytics is majority of the things are completely configurable as per your liking. At the bottom of this tooltip card, you are able to see certain quick action buttons. So as per the industry standard, it is always said that you have to note your call recordings or call outcomes, as well as create any task that the person has assigned. So let's say Basis has asked me to send them an email. In that case, I can just go ahead, click on this email tab, and I'll be able to send them the email or a brochure for my company. Similarly, if I want to create an appointment against this, I can go ahead, click on this, and the appointment would be created. So you see, with a single view, I am able to do multiple things which traditionally required me to shift between a lot of tabs, right? Now coming to the use case that we have discussed. I am going to visit this particular area. And since I'm going on the field, why not to visit some more entity records nearby? So in that case, I can just simply click on the map and select this as my current location. And I'll be able to see a plot card appearing over here. In this plot card, you can search multiple records based on either the location. If you know a region, you can do that as well as with drawing. And I'll be taking you to each of these searches. Let me first start with the location tab. So this is my current location, and I want to see how many of my records are present within half a mile or 1 mile radius of my current location. So in that case, I am using the proximity search and I'm setting the distance as half a mile to 1 mile. And here in the matrix, you can use miles or kilometers as per your requirement, right? Now, there could be a use case wherein you want to see accounts as well as you want to see leads simultaneously. In that case, you can select multiple data source and visualize it on a same map. In my case, I just want to see the accounts. So let me just do that and click on search. So as soon as I've clicked on search, the rest of the accounts that is outside of my radius are not here. Only the accounts that are present within the radius are present. And there are two concentric circles. The inner one represents half a mile. The outermost represents 1 mile. And these are all the accounts that I have. Now, these are so many accounts and I cannot visit them at once. So in that case, let me prioritize my visit. Here, I can categorize my data based on various categorization. Here, let me categorize my data based on annual revenue. So let me select the annual revenue over here, click on search. Now, you might have noticed that the push pins that were of unified color now are with different colors, and each of these push pins or icons represent a range of annual revenue, right? So I can uncheck and check them. Like I mentioned, I only want to visit the high valued clients for myself. In that case, I'm just selecting the high valued clients and adding it to the route. Now here there is one more upgrade to PCF control, that is the lasso tool. With lasso tool, you can select a range of records and it would be binded here in the data grid, like you can see. And here, if I want to mail them, I can definitely go ahead and mail them. If I want to create an activity against them, that is an appointment, I can do that as well. Or if I want to save this particular view or this particular data for my future reference, I can do that as well. Now let me add them to the route because that is what we are going to do. As soon as I've added to the route, there are this 5 push pins that have been added. Apart from that, if you have noticed, there are 2 addresses that have pre-appeared over here. So these 2 addresses do not represent any of the accounts that are present. So why are they here? The reason for them is basically that I have configured the user, that is the Sam, in such a way that I know he would be starting his day from office, and when the visit is completed, he's going back to his home. Hence, I have configured it like that, right? And these are all my 5 push pins, 5 accounts, right? Now, this was just route planning, just adding adding the accounts and seeing how it looks on the map. Now, what about route optimization? So in the optimization part, there's an option that is to optimize the direction. Here we have 2 options. One, you can optimize it with respect to shortest time, or you can optimize it with respect to shortest distance, depending on your requirement. Additionally, if you want to avoid any highways, any tolls, you can do that as well. Or if you want to see the live feed of the traffic, here it is, right over here, right? So now I want to only optimize it with respect to shortest distance. When I click on go, it is going to create a route for me. And in this direction card over here, I'll get a turn-by-turn navigation of my entire route along with the ETA. So right from point A to point G, I would require 26 minutes and the total distance is somewhere around 4 miles, right? And if you scroll down, you'll be having a turn-by-turn navigation from A to B, B to C, and so on. As soon as I click on this navigate button, it is going to give me short links. And if I click on this, it is going to take me to the default map that is configured for my system. So here it is Google Maps. I can just select navigation through Google Maps right here. If it is an Android phone, it is going to take you to the default map that is Google Map. But if it is an iPhone, it is going to take you to the Apple Maps, right? So this was the navigation part. Now, if like yes. So now I think I am very much confident on my route part and I'm okay with it. What I can do is I can go ahead and save this route for myself or for someone else as well. We have the option for that as well. So let me name this route as today's date, that is 12th July. July. When is this route going to commence? So it is going to commence today itself. I can select the date and the owner of this route. So you can select anyone else as well if you're assigning a route. Because this is for me, I'm going to assign it for myself and click on save. As soon as I click on save, the route has been saved for me and I can easily navigate it through my phone or through the laptop as well. Now here, let me take you to the mobile view of Maplytics, right? So what if I have created the route. Now, how do I manage it and how do I go about it? So in that case, let me connect my phone and show you the mobile view of the same. Right. So I've connected my phone. Now let me take you to the C app. That is the Microsoft Sales app that we have traditionally. As soon as you open it, you'll be able to view certain dashboards that you have created for yourself. Let this load and I'll be able to show you that as well. Right? So this is the view that we have created. From here, more button, you are able to see all your entities, that is accounts, contacts, and other custom entities that you have configured on the CRM. Now let me take you to the dashboard because I have created a dashboard for myself wherein I can just see the routes that are planned for me and just navigate around it. So there are multiple dashboard options. I have created sales rep dashboard for myself, wherein I am able to see all my appointments for today, as well as all the routes that I have assigned for me. So these are all my appointments for today. And if I scroll down, I am able to see the route that we have just now created, that is 12th July. When I double click on this, it is going to open the route, give me certain information about that route, that is the waypoints, who is responsible for this particular route, the owner of it, when it is going to start, and rest of the things. As soon as I click on this three buttons over here, three lines over here, it is going to ask me to plot the route, right? So as soon as the route is plotted, let me show you how to move about it. So now you see, this is the exact same route that we have curated just 5 minutes back, right? So this is the route with all the waypoints mentioned over here. In the direction card, you're able to see all those waypoints. And if you are going to click on go, it is again going to give you a turn-by-turn navigation of your route. I've selected the first one and it is going to take me to the default map, that is Google Maps for me. Additionally, if you have, like I mentioned previously as well, if it is an iPhone, it is going to take you to Apple Map, right? So now everything looks fine to me, but uh, let's say I am at G over here, and I've completed all my visits little early than I expected, and I still have 2 or 3 hours more to spend. In that case, what do I do? How do I find nearby accounts? So for that, we have multiple options. Let me take you to the first option, that is along the route. So here in the options, you are able to see there's a along the route option present. When you click on this, it is going to ask you for a radius that you want to see the accounts for. So I want to see all the accounts that are present in half a mile radius for me. Here in this, you can select the entity that you want to plot. So if all your accounts are exhausted, you can plot opportunities or leads. Now here I'm just plotting accounts. Let me take to the London view and click on view. So now as you can see, London view has had a lot of other accounts as well. But we are able to see only few of these accounts. And which are these accounts? These are actually the accounts that are near to my route, that is within half a mile radius to my route. Right? So let's say I can visit these two accounts because these are near to my G location. So I can just tap over it and I'll be able to see the name, that is God's Mark Architect. And if I double tap on it, I'm able to see the phone number as well. I can just go ahead, call them up, ask them that whether or not they are available to meet me. If they say yes, then let me just go back to it and add it to the route. So adding to the route, you can long press on the map and add it to the route, or else with this three dots also you can do it. Now I have added to the route. Let me take you to the direction section. And this, you can see God's Mark Architect is over here. When I click on go, it is going to go ahead, add it to my route and create a route for myself, right? Similarly, if you want to visit more of these accounts, you can just go ahead, tap into it, add them to the route and start your journey. Once everything is finalized, you can go ahead in the direction card and save it. This is going to ask you if you want to add it to the existing route. And you need to say yes, because then my manager would be able to see that I have not only covered the 5 waypoints that was allotted to me, 5 accounts that are allotted to me, but also the accounts that I have extra visited just because of the time. When I click on save, it is going to go ahead and save it into my existing route, right? Similarly, there could be an option wherein the person doesn't want to see you in the office, but rather wants to visit you somewhere near a cafe or a restaurant. In that case, you can definitely go ahead and search for POI options. So for POI, you can long press anywhere on the map. It is going to ask you to set a location for POI. So let me set this as a location for my POI. Go ahead with the search. And in this POI section over here, I can search for gas stations, cafe, restaurants, and if there's any other thing, you can click on this other option and type in your interest. Right now, I'm just going to select for the restaurants. I go ahead, click on it, and proceed. All the restaurants that are nearby to my location would appear. I can then click on them, understand, get their phone numbers, book a table for myself, like this Black Olive Cafe. So I can just click on it, double tap on it, and I'll be able to see its address mentioned over here. If this is something that suits me, I can just go ahead, right click on it and add it again to the route. So this way, your route has been created, you are able to go ahead with visiting much more accounts than you are expected. Plus, you are able to see the POIs right from one particular view. So this is what the power of Maplytics is, that it gives you an entire visualization, route optimization, uh, and other things that you require when you are planning your trip or when you are on the ground, right? Additionally, let's say there's also one more option of locate me. If you see this button over here, this is locate me button. When you click on this, it is going to take your current location and then consider all the accounts that are nearby. So that option is definitely available over here. Now, another upgrade to Maplytics for mobile version is now you can access detail map and heat map on your phone with the data grid itself. So for that, let me go to the account entity over here. And here you will see three dots mentioned, three lines rather. When you click on them, you'll be able to see Maplytics as an option. And with this, you can access detail map that we saw in the PCF control or heat map based on your requirement. And do the searching that we did, that is the radius search, the region search on the map here itself, on the phone itself, right? So here we have the search option, wherein again you can do your proximity search with respect to distance, with respect to time, select your data sources, categorize the data and go about it. Additionally, additionally, you will also be able to see the data grid on the map here itself. So let me plot something so that we are able to see the data grid. Again, let me plot 1 mile radius from my current location. And here, let me select a particular view. I'm selecting London view. When I click on go, I am able to see all the accounts that are present in my radius. And here, if you want to search any of these records, you can just open the search bar and search within the records. If you want to see any records, let's say Baylis, if it is present, yes, you can just type in and the push pin would be highlighted. So in case, so coming to the use case, if I want to search for Baylis, yes, if I want to search for Baylis, I can just simply go ahead, type in the keywords and I'll be able to see it. The map would highlight it with the push pin highlighted. Additionally, if I want to see what all other accounts that are present here in the view, I can definitely go ahead and do that. Here, all the accounts are mentioned. Even here, if you want to search anything, you can go ahead and search it. So the mobile experience is very much similar to your desktop experience, and in some ways when it comes to route optimizing or just navigating around, it is much better than the PC, right? So now let's go back to our desktop version. Okay. Okay. So in this use case, we saw the PCF control. We saw the PCF control and how to create route around it when it comes to an individual individual salesperson. How can I create my routes? How can I see what all accounts are nearby and additionally go about it? But what if I'm a manager which has 3 to 4 salespeople under them and wants to create route for multiple days for multiple people? In that case, we have something called as auto scheduling. So let me take you through that, right? So in that case, we need to go ahead with the detail map over here, right? This is the detail map. Let me refresh the map first over here and select. So this view that you can see right now is very much similar to the PCF control that we just saw. This is the plot card wherein you can search your records based on proximity, based on region, based on drawing, or by territory. In this particular use case, let me just select or let me just do it with respect to region rather than the proximity, because we have done a lot of proximity by now. Let me do it by region. Here it is, the detail map. Let me open it. This time I'm using the search function of by region. And here I know I'm responsible for this SE postal code in London. Let me plot that. Similarly, if you have any kind of region that is assigned to you, it could be a city, country, county, state. Based on that, you can add in the location and it would automatically fetch it for you. So London it is. And let me select a data view as well so that it can plot the records on the map and click on go. As soon as I click on go, you see the SE postal code area has been automatically plotted. Apart from that, other accounts or other regions accounts are not visible. Only the accounts that are present within this enclosed figure is over here. And if I hover over any of these accounts, I am able to see their necessary information. And in this data grid section over here, again, you are able to see all the records that are present on the map. Here you can advance filter it based on as your liking, or if you want any other functions to be added, you can do that. Right? So yes, let me hide this data grid. Coming to the auto scheduling part. So again, these are so many records and I don't want, for them to visit each one of them. Rather, I want to categorize them. In this case, I am categorizing my data not based on not based on annual revenue, but rather based on industry. So I'm going to go ahead and select industry over here. And again, the push pins would change. And with respect to each of these industries, I'm able to see the push pins. You can bring in your own icons as well if you want, and then or else we have shipped certain predefined icons as well, so you can customize it. Yeah. Now coming to the use case part, I only want my executives to visit finance related accounts and no and nothing else. So in that case, accounting would count, banking would count, finance as it is would count, and insurance over here. So these are the accounts. There are somewhere around 19 accounts that I want my people to visit, or I want my sales reps to visit. So how do I go ahead and create an auto schedule for them? So there's an option in the mass action over here, wherein there's a at last when you scroll, you will find auto scheduling. When you click on it, it is going to ask you if everything is fine and you want to go ahead with auto scheduling, right? So now you can see this auto scheduling tab. Now, while we are creating a schedule for anyone, we need to consider a lot of things: their start date, their start time, their end time, what is their break time, how much duration each of these meetings is going to take, what is the duration of their lunch time, what is the buffer time that we might want to do, take into consideration when they reach the particular thing. So everything that you require when it comes to scheduling is all present over here. You can, so the first option says that when do you want to start the schedule. I'm taking it as today's date itself. For how many users? So I'm going to create the route for 2 users, that is Sam and William over here. And the time period, that is within how many days do I want these records to be answered or these accounts to be visited. So in that case, I'm selecting the period as 5 days. Each of these meetings is going to take roughly around 45 minutes of my executives. So the duration of meetings, I'm setting it as 45. Here, the start time. So I know that executives would be starting their day at 8, would be ending by 5. And their lunch break, let me take it as 1 p.m. here. And the lunch duration would be somewhere around 30 minutes, right? Additionally, you also have the working days option. So in some cases, people don't visit on Wednesdays, maybe because they have their monthly meeting or weekly meeting scheduled. Accordingly, you can check and uncheck these boxes so that the schedule is not prepared for that particular day, right? And in the advanced preferences, let me take you to much deeper extent of it. In the advanced preferences, you can set the number of meetings that they can do in a day. So let me select 3 over here, right? and the start and end location of these users. So you can edit them based on your liking. As I mentioned that usually my executives start their day from office and end it at their home. Hence, I have configured it in such a way. And here in the meeting details, I am able to see everything listed out with their names, their phone numbers, their addresses, and other things. And here, if let's say I know that this particular account of mine, that is Blackheath, is a very important account for me, and it is not going to take 45 minutes, but rather maybe 60 minutes because it is an important one. So I can just go ahead and edit it. Once everything is done, you can just go ahead, click on proceed, and it is going to create routes for you, and not only routes, but also appointments against it. This is going to take a few seconds of yours. The reason is because it is searching for a optimized route right from your start location to your end location, and not only for one day, but for multiple days. In our case, it is 5 days, right? Here it is. So once the processing is done, we'll be able to see the trip summary of each of these days for each of these users. And accordingly, we can proceed if everything looks fine to you. There's also an option to edit it. You can go back and edit if you want to change anything and then proceed with the same thing, right? So yes, here we can see that the trip summary is right over here for 12th July for Sam. This is the blue one represents Sam's way, the pink one represents Williams. And here is the day on 12th. These are the three accounts that Sam would be visiting. If you want to see Williams, you can shift the tab and you'll be able to see Williams over here. Similarly, if you want to see the week's view, you can do it. Here I can see this is for William, and this there are somewhere around three of these scheduled for each of these days. Each of these days here, like you can see, right? And if everything looks fine to you, you can go ahead and click on create like this, right? So it is going to ask you what kind of activities do you want to create against this account. It could be a service activity or it could be an appointment based on your requirement, right? And you can name these appointments and set a priority against it. Now what I want to show you is this little box over here, that is create route option. When you tick on this, it is not only going to create appointments against this, but also going to create route for each of these days so that the salesperson doesn't have to worry about anything else, but only worry about the meetings and how to navigate around it, right? So yeah, when I click on create, it is going to go ahead and create the route and assign it to the respective person responsible for this route. I hope this is clear. So now so far we have seen PCF control wherein an individual can create its route and optimize its route. In auto scheduling, you can create an optimized route for multiple users. Now there's also one more feature that a lot of our clients were asking, that is something called as area of service. Now area of service is very important when it comes to the clients who have their service centers planned on who have their service centers, and with respect to each of these service centers there is an area of service that they provide their service to. So in this case use case, let me show you the provider. This is a custom entity providers, and here all my providers are present, right? And each of these providers have an area of service that they serve to. Let me take the first example, that is A Enterprise. So I know that A Enterprise has the service area within this three postal codes. So any cases or any customer that comes up with a service request, I know that I have to redirect this person to A service A Enterprise, right? So this is the area of service that I have defined for them. How do you create your area of service? So when you open the record, you have to click on Maplytics over here like this, And here in this option section, you will have the option of creating the area of service. Now, the area of service can be created using multiple ways. It could be a file by file option, wherein let's say if you have a shape file or a KML file, you can just upload it and it will showcase you. I'll take you through that as well in the territory management, how by file option works, right? Similarly, you can do a proximity search that we did previously. You can plot a radius around this particular service center. Let's say this service center only provides service to within the customers who lies between 5 mile radius of this particular location. So then you can just plot that 5 mile radius over here. Similarly, if you know the region type, that is postal code or maybe the city name, accordingly you can do it. The service areas can be created using multiple ways. All of them are listed here. Once the service area is created, now let me take you the second part of it. I have got a customer or rather a case, and he wants to understand where he can go in order to get the things sorted out. So here I have listed all my cases. These are my cases. The first case is from Adventure Works, and the person wants to understand where exactly he can go or which center can he visit so that his problem is solved. In that case, I can go ahead with Maplytics map over here, and this is the search box. So now I have pre-configured it for all my cases that I should be able to see all these service providers within 2 mile of radius of their location, right? So now in this map, you can see, let me, yes, highlighted. Yeah. So now you can see this is the case or this is the account which need helps from us. And within 2 mile radius of this particular account, there are these many service providers, right? I can hover over them and understand that which are these. But there could be a case that this particular service provider is present over here. That is the physical office is over here, but the service that he gives is not in this part of the city, but rather the other part of the city. In that case, let me hide this area or let me hide this. Yes, in that case, you are not only able to see the service providers, but also the area of service for each of these providers. So now I can see this particular client of mine lies in this particular postal code, which is handled by A enterprise. Hence, I can go ahead and ask A enterprise to reach out to this particular client or vice versa. I can ask the client to reach out to A enterprise and accordingly it would be taken care of. So now in this as well, right from one map view, you are able to see where exactly your customer is, how many service providers do you have in your region, and how to contact or navigate around it. Yeah. So this was the part of area of service that I wanted to show you. Now, taking the discussion ahead and taking the webinar ahead, this was for sales people and the schedulers. What about the sales manager when they want to see what exactly which territory they are assigned for, what all accounts are there and how many accounts are there. So in that case, let me take you to territory management of this. So for territory management, we are again going to go ahead with detail map. So as I mentioned, any operations that you want to do, you are able to do it right from this detail map section over here. Additionally, if you want to visualize or additionally, if you want to analyze any of your data, you can use the heat map, right? So now let me take you to the territory management. Here, there's an option of territory management. First, let's see how do we create territories, and then we'll see how to visualize it, and then how to manage it as well. So for creating territories, there are again multiple options. You can use it by file option, by proximity, by region, by drawing, depending on your requirement. Let me select by file option for now. In this case, if you have any shape file or a KML file, you can just upload it over here like this. I have uploaded the zip code for New York. Click on plot and it is going to go ahead and plot the entire the entire of your shapefile. So you can see each of these postal codes are plotted around the New York. If you hover over them, you are able to see the postal code numbers as well, right? Now here you can either select one of them one by one and right click on it and create territories against it. You can name the territory as you please. Let's say, you know, state alignment. What geography name do you want to give it? Geography name is basically the title that you want to give, that is with respect to zip file or with respect to population, anything that you have in this shapefile mentioned. So here I'm selecting zip code. We also provide an option of hierarchical territory. So there are many a times, a small territory lies within a bigger territory. In that case, you can create a hierarchy of your territories. Here, there's an option of parent territory. So you can select your parent territories based on your requirement. If the territory is pre-created, you'll be able to see it right from here itself. So now I am adding this particular territory under the New York section. I can assign the managers as well as I please. And if everything looks fine, I can go ahead and click on proceed. It is going to go ahead and click create territories for me. Once these territories are created, any records that are formed within these territories would be automatically allotted to these territories. And how do we do that? We have a territory workflow in place. So whenever any record is created, it is based on its lat long, it is automatically assigned to the respective territories, right? Similarly, now what if this is the territory that I've plotted? And now I want to distribute this territory based on the records that are present in it evenly. So we provide that particular option as well. I'm sorry, I've selected a wrong. Here it is. Yes. So this is the shapefile that we have uploaded, and these are the records that are present in my CRM. Now I want that each of these records should be distributed within the territories, and I want to create 3 territories around it. In that case, what do? I select the entire area like this, right? And right click on the map, select create territories, and click on creating multiple territories. Now I can create 2 to 3 territories depending on my requirements. Let me create 3 territories over here, click on proceed. Now you see these records would be evenly distributed, and as well as the land area would be evenly distributed into 3 of these territories. So you can see territory 1, 0, 1, 2. You can rename them, you can assign a manager to them and create them. If you want to create it, you can just simply go ahead and click on create territories. But there could be a chance that you want to realign them. In that case, you can realign it. You can, instead of 3, let's say I want to do it 5 because the area is large. You can just simply click on proceed, and now it is going to divide this into 5 different regions like this, right? Similarly, still I am not very confident that I want to create them, so I can save it as a draft, and in the future I can just work on it whenever I want, right? So this was territory creation with file. It is not necessary that you only have to create territories with respect to file. There are other options as well. Let me take you through that as well. We have proximity search as well. So again, the drill is same. This is your current location. You can set this as your current location, plot a radius around it like this, select it, and create a territory. The similar fashion. Same goes with the regions as well. If you know the regions, you can definitely go ahead and create territories around it, right? So let's say the territories are now created and I want to visualize these territories, or I want to see these territories. How do I go about it? In that case, I can just go on the territory option over here, click on my territory option, select the territories that I've created, State and Island, Yes, these are the three territories that I have created. So I can see these three territories over here, right? And now what I see is that the north part can take one more area into it. In that case, I can just realign them. That is, I can just click on this part, right click on it, and move it to the north part. That is Staten Island North, like this. So in case if I want to move any territory to a different territory, I can do it right from here itself. Or let's say because this territory lies between the mid section and south section, I want them to be evenly distributed, or both the territories can access this particular region. In that case, I can select the other option, that is copied. In this case, this particular land would be shared between the mid section and the last section. I hope this is clear, right? So this was territory creation, it was territory visualization and realignment that we saw. If you want to know more about this territory as a whole, we can definitely have a one-to-one call wherein I would be presenting based on your requirement, right? So based on the agenda, we have covered PCF control, we have covered the mobile section of it, we have also covered the auto scheduling, that is scheduling for multiple people for multiple days, and then the sales manager's request of territory management is also being fulfilled. Now, let me take you to the last part of the webinar, that is to see uh, before all this starts, we have something called as batch processing tool that geocodes your data automatically so that it is visible on the map. So how do we proceed with that? Let me show you. So as you download the solution file, you'll see something called as batch processing or batch geocoding option over here. This is an Windows file and it works outside of your CRM. In this, it will ask you to log in your CRM so that it could geocode your data. So you can select the deployment type. If it is on-premise, you can select on-premise. If it is online, you can select the Office 365 view over here. And in the advanced section, you need to log in with your username and password, right? Once you log in, it is going to ask you for the entity that you want to create the geocode for. Yes. So here you can see there are two options to geocode. Either you can batch geocode. What do you mean by batch geocode is to bulk geocode your to bulk geocode your entities based on your requirement. So you can select that. Or else if you have territories and you want to assign them, then in that case, you have this particular option. Now, based on my use case, I want to geocode the account entity. So I can select on this, click on go ahead. It is going to ask me to select the entity that I want to geocode. Here I'm selecting accounts entity and the view that I want to geocode. So here I'm selecting accounts in India. Similarly, if you want to geocode multiple entities at a time, the option is definitely here. You can select multiple entities like this. Here I'm selecting contact. With respect to contacts, you can select your entities and add them to the list. Once the entities have been added, you can just go ahead, proceed, and the geocoding would start in the background. You'll see there are 36 records and it would take somewhere around 1 minute to complete. Now, as soon as the geocoding is completed, this is how it is going to look like, right? It is going to give you the results, the entity, the view that you have selected, how many records were there, out of which how many of them are successful, and if any failed, the reason for the failure is also mentioned over here. Now, if you want, you can go back to the home and start your geocoding for another entity, or if you want them as a XML, as a CSV file for yourself, you can definitely export it as well, right? So this is a prerequisite for Maplytics that you need to geocode your data so that we have the lat longs and we are able to showcase it on the map, right? So I think we have covered every part of our agenda. Now the fun part begins, wherein I will be giving you the poll. Let me start the poll so that I understand that which of these features excited you the most, right? So let me start the poll. Okay, great. So we have some interesting answers over here. To my surprise, a lot of people actually liked territory management more than the PCF. That is quite surprising, and you know, we have an interesting audience over here. That's great. Yeah. Now question answer section of coming to the question answer section, the part wherein I am able to answer all your doubts and queries. So if you have any, just put them in the chat box. Let me answer them for you. Okay. Okay. So yeah, here we have one interesting question. The question is how to assign the territories to account. So as I've mentioned in the webinar as well, that once the territories are been created, there is a workflow in place. So as soon as any record is created based on their lat long, you are able to, based on their lat long where they exactly lie, Maplytics is automatically going to assign that particular territory to the account. I hope I was able to answer your question. Now, here we have a second question. Can we assign multiple territories to account? Yes, we can do that. You can assign multiple territories to a account. And then if you are going to plot the territories, in every territory, the account lies, it would be visualized on the map there itself, right? Okay, there's one more interesting question that we have is, can we plot custom entity? This is a good question, and I'm sorry I have not covered it when I was speaking about it. Yes, custom entity is very much supported in Maplytics. You have to you have to add it to the entity map section in the configuration part of Maplytics, and you are ready to go. And if you want to know more about this, definitely let's have a chat. You can reach out to me at crm@iNogic and I'll be happy to help you out and give you a personalized demo on it, right? So I think that is it for the question and answer. If you have more questions, please feel free to get in touch with us and I'll be happy to answer them. Now coming to the success stories. We are, like I mentioned, we are in the industry since a decade now, and we have quite a few success stories. We have clients who are associated with us for over 10 years now, and not only clients but also the partners. P2 Automation is one of our renowned partners, and we are in the business with them since 5 years now. Again, these are some of the testimonies of our customers. If you want to know more about them, you can definitely head to our website, that is www.maplytics.com, and you'll be able to see all these customer testimonials, their use cases, how they have used Maplytics, and if anyone is similar to your requirements, just reach out to us anytime, right? And the last part of this is FAQs. So let me cover the commonly asked questions. First, do we need to purchase the Bing Map license separately? No, you don't have to. It is all included in the license itself. Which products do we support for Microsoft Dynamics? So we support the CRM as well as the Dataverse. The support timing, this is a very common question. So we have clients all over the globe, and every time they have any queries, it is answered within the respective hours. So you don't have to worry about anything. The support hour is round the clock. There's always someone to answer your queries. Can I create overlapping territories for my sales team and service team? Definitely, you can create overlapping territories as well. You can create multiple territories, and in the hierarchy section also, I have mentioned that you can create parent and child territories as well. Can I plot record for multiple entities on the same map? Yes, you can. I have showed you in the data source section, you can not only plot, I had plotted accounts, but you can not only plot accounts, but your multiple entities. It could be lead opportunities just to have a view of everything at once. Can we use Maplytics on mobile to view the route and follow it? Yes. And I have shown you how we can do it, right? So these are some commonly asked questions that I have answered. But still, if you have any questions or any doubts or require any of the any personalized demo for yourself, please feel free to reach out to us at crm@inogic, and I'll be happy to help you. And until then, please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for attending the webinar, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.